Hey Matt, thanks for using Racers 360. We got a lot to work with here, so let's go ahead and dig into it. So turn one, we're just braking a little too early and not rolling enough speed. I'd like to see you try to break the 300 board if possible. And how I know you're not rolling enough speed is because we're picking up initial throttle here, way before the apex. We want to try to pick up the throttle at that green circle there. You can tell yourself, if I'm picking up the throttle before the apex, when you go over and look at your videos, you know you're over slowing. So let's try to roll enough speed, carry just a very, very light brake all the way down to that apex, and continue to work on rolling more speed. Up the S's, you look great. Your line's perfect. Let's just keep working on rolling more speed as you get more comfortable and keeping those eyes looking farther forward. But your lines are fantastic. So going into the brake zone for the bus stop, I think we're braking too early. You're braking right around here. I'd like to see you try to work your brake zone down to the 400 board. Now, to help you do that, really focus on looking far forward, keeping those eyes up. Over the first curve, here's a bit of a line thing we see. You kind of just nick this first curve, and the red lines there is kind of where you're going. You have to really crank more wheel after it. I'd like to see you turn a little earlier, shallower, get that right side tire all over this curve so your hands can be straighter at this point. You end up in the same position, but you can roll more speed. And again, here, I'd like to see your eyes up, open the hands, and just kind of straight line over that last curve. That'll allow you to get the throttle earlier, and you don't need to turn as much and scrub speed. Here you end up all the way out left, where it's good, but you don't really need to get all the way out left to work for the radius of the corner. It's really banked here, so let's just go ahead and crank it down there. When the corner's banked, all the grip is to the inside, so we can turn harder and earlier and just let that banking catch the car through here. Right there, it's just maintenance throttle, trying to carry enough speed as you can. Right here, again, let's get your eyes looking farther forward. I'd like to see you try to get out to the exit curb earlier so you can open your hands earlier here, scrub less speed. So eyes up, try to let the car be as free as possible, get out to the exit curb earlier. Again, here, we're not rolling enough speed because our initial throttle is right here. I would rather see you hold just a really light brake zone, so get off the brakes, less pressure, and hold the brakes longer. Delay that throttle until about right here. So it's quite a lot later around the corner that we want to see, and you're actually going to be able to roll more speed and have more grip like that. Again, you can see we're not getting out to that exit curb early enough. Eyes up, let the car be free, open those hands earlier. Usually that's just a sign of your eyes being a little too low. Good brake zone here. I'd like to see you again roll more speed, and it's not braking deeper, it's getting to lighter pressure earlier. You're getting to throttle here. It's just a little too early, so we can roll more speed. I'd like to get the throttle about here, but what ends up happening is because you've rolled too little speed, your car angle's like this. I would like to see you a little bit more rotated like the green line, and that when you get to more throttle, you'll be able to open your hands earlier and really commit to full throttle earlier than what you're doing right now. Now, the back section of the track, your lines are fantastic, actually. These next few corners, all I can really say is we're, again, a little too early to throttle. I'd like to be getting to throttle where this green circle is. So it's not as bad as the other corners. So continue to work on trailing off that peak brake pressure earlier and holding brakes just a little bit longer. Same sort of system here exiting the boot. Now, it's pretty tricky here. You want to get the throttle early to settle the back end, but let's roll a little bit more speed, get off the brake, and you're just kind of holding really just like your big toe on that brake pedal for longer until about here. That's where you want to get to the initial throttle. Opening the hands, you're great through there. This next corner is perfect. Good apex speed. Continue to work on trying to bring more speed in, but the line is awesome. Take a second and just know what that feels like. You're really, really solid through there. So into the final corner, your initial line's great. We can work on trying to roll more speed, but the line's great on entry. All I can say again, on your eyes up on the exit, you're kind of hold this red line where I'd like to see you try to open your hands earlier and open up the radius of the corner. Use more road on exit earlier into the corner. So overall, we're pretty consistent on what we need to work on, which is great. It's just trying to lighten up the brake pressure earlier in the corner. So good peak pressure, then trailing off earlier, holding less brake pressure longer into the corner, and then getting to throttle later in the corner. What's going on when you pick up that throttle earlier is you're shifting the weight off the nose too early, and then you're going to lose front grip. Trail braking sounds slower, but it'll allow you to have more front grip, roll more speed, and then get to full throttle even earlier.